Welcome everyone, and especially kids. Hope you had a great fun with the team building activity and learned an interesting skill in the workshop. Now to introduce our keynote speaker, Renu Bhatia, we welcome Kathy Tyra. Kathy Tyra is NADAP's Vice President of Workplace Resources and Real Estate. She has had many different roles in her 15 years at NADAP. Sharing some of her career highlights at NADAP, Kathy came to NADAP to set up our distribution center in Singapore and Asia Pacific. Think of Amazon or FedEx, but only a bit smaller. Kathy was the VP in charge of completing our new building in Bangalore, India. It has over 1 million square feet and has 24-hour cafeteria, a gym, on-site medical doctor. It also has a tennis, basketball, and badminton courts. And people who are familiar with cricket sport, there's a cricket pitch there too. So it's one of the nicest buildings in Bangalore, and our employees really love it. Today, Kathy is in charge of responding to COVID for NADAP. She leads many daily and weekly meetings on COVID and spends time talking with our medical doctors, industry experts, and our senior executives. She and her team are thinking through how to safely bring NADAP employees back into the office next summer. Kathy is also a global chairperson of NADAP's Women in Technology at NADAP. NADAP YWIT was started 11 years ago, and as I showed in my earlier presentation, we have grown over to 1,300 members across 19 locations globally. Ladies, please welcome Kathy Tyra.
Thank you, Pooja, and welcome everybody. I'm so glad we're having great turnout today. And one thing I didn't put on my bio, but I'm probably most proud of, is that I'm a very proud grandma of 4 kids. I'm known as Grandma Kathy. And 3 of them are lovely, beautiful, talented, smart, sports-oriented girls. And so this whole conference resonates personally with me, and I hope you get a lot out of your day and time with NetApp. And then with that, I'd like to introduce Renu Bhatia. Renu's the VP of Business Development and Sales at NVIDIA. And through her dynamic career there, she's contributed to the expansion of NVIDIA's data center business. She's focused on building successful partnerships with their enterprise customers and the top cloud providers. And as a transformational sales executive with 2 decades of experience, she's developed new business models and market categories, resulting in significant growth for NVIDIA's data center revenue. She's passionate about cutting-edge AI technology and about driving seamless technology execution. While she was at Marvell, Renu was VP of Sales and Strategic Partnerships at Marvell and drove partnerships with industry leaders, resulting in $1.5 billion in data communications revenue. She's been recognized by the Silicon Valley Business Journal as one of the top 100 Women of Influence awards, and she's also received the Twin Award from the YWCA. She's passionate about STEM programs, and she is, hang on, I lost my place there, and programs for young children, and serves on the board of directors of the Children's Discovery Museum. She graduated with a BFEE from the University of Maryland, and she has her MBA from Santa Clara University. Welcome, Renu. We're so happy to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Kathy. And that was a lovely introduction, very kind introduction. Thank you. And great to hear that you're a grandma. How exciting. Thank you everyone for joining this session. And I want to also acknowledge the insights and the help I got from Pooja, Cynthia Brown, Anne Marie, as well as Caitlin in preparing this session, this presentation. So thank you very much to NetApp and all the women that are involved and are excited about these STEM programs. So we are going to have about 45 minutes together. So I'm looking forward to this exciting time. And I will be sharing with you my journey what are my learnings through all these years, why I believe in STEM programs and STEM education. And there will be some poll questions along the way, so we want to see what you think. And of course, this is more of an outline for you. I'm hopeful that when you walk away from this session, this presentation, you will be able to show the curiosity and engage yourselves in further research on some of the topics that I'll be discussing. So this is just more of an outline and more of a framework for you to think about when you leave this program today. So thanks again, and let's get started. I am Renu Bhatia, and I am working today for NVIDIA. Kathy already told you about that. But why are we talking about STEM today? So before we get into the presentation, let's talk about STEM and how it contributes heavily to our society. So our lives are better because of STEM. I firmly believe that. And could you imagine if our lives had no iPhones, there were no airplanes, there was no electricity, and we couldn't take benefit from antibiotics when we were sick? And then what about the prosthetic legs that disabled use? So all of these discoveries and inventions over time were by people who were actually passionate about solving big problems. And STEM education allowed them to solve big problems. So this is something that has been very core to my education. I believe that STEM solves big problems. It helps a lot of people and makes people's lives better. And this is the reason that I pursued STEM. And I'm hopeful that you will also find a higher purpose as you go through this discussion with me today. So STEM is solving big problems, but also STEM careers pay a lot more than non-STEM careers. And so you have a pay advantage and you are able to be financially secure, financially independent once you have a STEM degree or you've come out of a STEM program. You can make a lot more money than otherwise. So these are some of the topics we will discuss a little bit later as well, but I just wanted to touch on them before we get into the presentation. Another reason we're discussing today women in STEM is that women are a very, very key part of the purchasing decisions that are being made. So not sure if you know this, but 85% of the consumer purchasing decisions today are made by women. And women are responsible for buying $5 trillion to $10 trillion worth of goods, services in the United States. That is a big number. So we buy a lot. And so we deserve to have products that work well for women. We are users of a lot of technology products, pharmaceutical products. So it makes a lot of sense for women to be a part of this. But women today are only 28% of the STEM workforce. This is a stat from the National Science Board. So we make up only 28% of the workforce today. So there's a lot of room for us to grow. So it's important that women's requirements are taken into consideration because diverse teams, inclusive teams make better products. And we will go through some examples later on this. But at this point, I want to just take a little pause and see if we can take a poll and see what you think.
I'll be closing the poll in about 3 seconds.
Oh, this is great. So I see that a lot of you have enrolled in a STEM program in the last 6 months. That is super exciting. And we'll continue to talk about some resources at the end of this presentation where you can explore other programs. I had a couple other questions where I'd like to see what you think. So let's take another poll.
All right, a couple more seconds.
Okay, the results from this poll question are here. The question was, what is holding you back from enrolling in a STEM program? And a lot of you said, don't know where to start. Okay, that's a great point there. And then some of you said that you are afraid of failing. So we're going to address those topics today too. And then I had a third poll, so let's see what you think on that one.
Can you guys see the screen?
Closing the poll now.
Okay, well, the question was, which STEM field would you like to pursue? This was a multiple choice question, and a lot of you said computer science and biology and engineering, and then other. So it was, it seems like you're interested in all those fields. Well, that's super exciting. And I have been an engineer, so I'm super excited about that field. Okay, well, thank you so much for taking those polls. And that was my first introduction. And now I want to introduce you to the company that I work for. So let's show you the NVIDIA campus. And this is based in Santa Clara. Pooja will put that slide up. Yep, that is the NVIDIA campus here in Santa Clara. That's where I work. And NVIDIA is the world leader in gaming, graphics, and artificial intelligence. So we will talk a little bit more about artificial intelligence a little bit later, but it is a field that is growing, and you may be already interacting with a lot of applications that use AI. For example, if you are on a site and you're interacting with customer support people, you may be interacting with a chatbot that is using AI. Or if you're in Facebook and Facebook does a great job of recognizing our faces and doing facial recognition, and then that sort of stuff is also AI. Recommendation engines that are used by major search engines use AI techniques and recommend products to us. So there are a lot of applications of AI, including fraud detection. There are also AI applications in robotics. So a lot of these applications are enabled by NVIDIA's technologies. So I'm super excited to be a part of the NVIDIA team. And we'll continue to talk now about robots. I just mentioned robots. And my next slide is about robotic surgery. So robots have been employed now in doing surgery for the last, I would say, 10 to 20 years. And if you are on the surgery table, as you can imagine, you would want to make sure that you're safe and the surgery is going to go well, and they are taking out precisely the tissue that you want taken out because human lives are at stake. So robots are assisting today. They're assisting a lot of surgeons in doing robotic surgery. And a lot of these robots are enabled by NVIDIA's GPU technology. And if you have any questions about this, you can put them in the chat at the end of the presentation. But I just wanted you to be aware that this is another example of where there is a higher purpose. We're trying to save lives, and robots are assisting surgeons in doing surgery. So technology has a higher purpose here. Going to the next slide, I know that a lot of us are stuck at home. Our activities are not the same as they used to be a year ago because we are all in a pandemic, and we know people that have been impacted by COVID. So here's another example here on this slide. What you see is a dashboard. So you've probably seen dashboards out of different places coming and talking about how the virus is spreading. This is an area that's super important to all of us because we need real-time data, we need interactive data. So NVIDIA and a company called Plotly, they work together to create this very interactive and real-time dashboard that provides information about how the virus is spreading. You can zoom in and get deeper insights into neighborhoods that might be experiencing more cases versus others. And that allows our communities and our hospital staff, our healthcare workers to have better plans. Because if the pandemic is spreading in a certain area, you want to know how many hospital beds are available, for example, in that area, so you can be taken care of. So this is another example where technology, STEM, is really helping save lives. And this is not the only example of STEM and technology helping us through the pandemic. I think this is a good time for us to take another poll and see what you think. But before we take the poll, I just want to say that there are robots now that are delivering pizzas and food to people in their homes because we want contactless delivery of food. We just want to save people who have underlying conditions not to be exposed to the virus. So there are robots that are doing food delivery. And let's take a poll now and see what you think. Wow, I am so impressed. Everybody got this. Most people said Amazon and Neuro, and that is the correct answer. Amazon is doing a lot of investment in food delivery robots, and so is a company called Neuro out of San Francisco. So if you want to research them more, go ahead after this presentation. So STEM is solving a lot of important big problems. And it's also fun. I mean, who doesn't think it's fun to get a pizza delivered through a robot? So I'm excited about food delivery robots and waiting for that to come to my house here in San Jose. So anyways, going to the next slide now. We're going to talk a little bit about gaming. Gaming is a big industry. It's going to be a $300 billion industry in by year 2025. It's already a huge industry, and now women are more and more women are using are actually gaming. So out of all gamers, 40% of all gamers are women. I'm sure a lot of you are gamers as well, and you enjoy the technology, are users of this technology. What if you could actually get involved in the industry in creating beautiful games that people would enjoy? So the industry employs a lot of people, such as graphic designers, such as game designers, artists, and then of course there is a programming part of the whole development of a game. My point that I would like to illustrate on this slide is that you can be part of being you can be a game designer, and you don't have to code in that case. You need to figure out the strategy. You need to figure out what you need to, what's the narrative on the game, how people are going to react to the game, what's the psychological part of it. And then, of course, if you want to be a multimedia artist on the team that's going to develop the game, then you can you can actually have skill sets in music and graphics. So the industry is big, and there's employment and jobs for a lot of people. And not all jobs are programming and coding jobs. But having a STEM foundation helps you. It helps you to get into the industry and helps you to have a very fruitful career in the industry that you're going to be very satisfied with. So I just wanted to put it out there. NVIDIA is a leader in gaming. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them at the end. You can put them in the chat at the end of the presentation. But it is something to think about if you come across programs in gaming and you are interested, you like being a user, and you think there's a fun element, and you're excited about playing video games, then you might want to consider how you'd like to be a part of it and what jobs you can pursue. Again, there's lots of different types of functions you can do, and a lot of different skill sets you can bring to the gaming industry. Okay, on the next slide, we are going to start talking about what do I do. So what I do is I am part of the sales and business development team at NVIDIA. I started as an engineer, and then over time, I got a degree in MBA degree in business and finance. I got super excited about business side of things. So I am responsible for creating collaborative environments and business engagements between our customers and NVIDIA. So I understand the technology. I understand how our products work, how our solutions create positive impact on people. And then I'm able to communicate that information to our partners, to our customers, and create this wonderful engagement model by which both companies or all of us as partners can go to market together. So I do a lot of business development, a lot of selling, and go to market when it comes to our products and solutions. So in these pictures that you see a lot of happiness there. In one picture, I am at a conference in Denver, and that is the NVIDIA and Google team, and we are on the show floor at a conference. So it's exciting. We unveiled a lot of new products. It was a very happy time. I was part of a very diverse team with people that are programmers, people that are doing marketing, selling, people that are actually test engineers, and then of course executives. So it's a really exciting picture there. It brings a lot of happy memories back to me. And then the second picture, I had a team of students from Northeastern University, and they wanted to come and take a tour of NVIDIA. And I was super excited. So we engaged in a wonderful tour of all of our technologies and our labs. And that's another element to me. I really am excited about STEM, and I host these types of tours once in a while at NVIDIA. So I wanted to show you what I do. this is today and what we're doing, and I want to now take you back and lead you through my journey of life. So how did I start in STEM? What did I do? Just a little bit more about me and how my journey has evolved. I just want you guys to know that you have your own unique journey. Everybody has their own unique journey. Things that work for me may not work for you, but these are just my learnings and things, you might be able to take one or two things from this and move forward with them. So let's start by my high school. I went to school at Friendly High School in Fort Washington, Maryland. If you're wondering where Fort Washington is, it's right outside Washington, D.C. It's about 5 miles outside Washington, D.C. And my high school's name was Friendly High School. And it's interesting that in the 9th grade, I was a very average kid, and I was hanging out with not the best crowd. We were going to the library, for example. This is a story I want to share with you. We would go to the library and not really study, not even open a book, sadly, make jokes, just laugh, chit chat. And only around 10th grade, I realized that I needed to get my life together and possibly find different friends. That was uncomfortable. I just want to share with you, that was super uncomfortable because I was comfortable with my group and I just felt like I fit in and I was accepted. So just leaving that group and finding another totally different set of people was hard. So I just found one friend who was like-minded and also interested in STEM. And we both decided to take a couple of classes together. So I enrolled in chemistry, physics, and I also had the courage then to enroll in calculus, and I did quite well. And so that was a great time in high school. I learned from that sometimes we have to have the courage to go away from our comfort zone. We are sometimes comfortable with the group that we are hanging with, whether or not that's good for us. But having a friend or a mentor that believes in us is super important, because only when I found that one person, I didn't need 10, 15, 20 friends, I realized I just needed one or two that I could engage with and discuss with and share my life with. And that worked out for me and changed my life. And then I went to University of Maryland, and there were a few learnings there. I just want to share with you that I was in the electrical engineering program. It was a very challenging program for me. There were days that were not so good. There was one day that I did not do so well on a test. And I decided, oh boy, this is the time to go change my major. So I was determined to change my major until I ran into my mentor. And my mentor was basically calmed me down and said, look, failure is like one step closer to success. And I was like, but no, you have to know that I am not doing well. And I've failed this test. And the mentor was very capable person who trusted in me, who believed in my capabilities and said, okay, well, you know what, if you really want to do this, then wait a week. And of course, by the following week, I was again thinking about my higher purpose. Why was I in engineering in the first place? Because I wanted to solve big problems, because I was really truly curious about why why our intersection lights work the way they did, or the television worked the way it did, or there were so many unanswered questions. And that was the reason that I was in the engineering program, because I was curious. And so I stayed with the program, and in spite of all the failures, kept going. I have one other story that I want to share with you, and that is related to an internship that I was doing. I had a super exciting internship in Annapolis, Maryland. It's a beautiful area if you haven't been to Annapolis, Maryland. And one day in the summer months, I'm working for this company I had to take some antenna measurements of signals, and I messed up. And based on something I did, I broke some of our equipment. I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed and didn't want to come back to work the next day. But then again, I woke up the next day. I thought about why I was doing that internship in the first place. And I reminded myself there was a higher purpose. And because of which I was engaged in that activity in the first place. And then so I picked myself up, realized that that was the failure was just one step closer now to success, and went back to work. And the people at work were super supportive, super understanding. They helped me out. We fixed the equipment and everything became better. So just hopefully you are also understanding that failure doesn't mean that you have to drop everything and start over and abandon something that you're doing. Find your higher calling, your higher purpose, and failure is then one more step again towards success. The picture beyond that, I went to Santa Clara University, so that's their logo. I'm at the board of Children's Discovery Museum. Kathy mentioned that. They have STEM programs for young children. I'm on that board, and that's the purple building in San Jose. If you have ever seen that, check out the museum. And then you already know I'm at NVIDIA, and before NVIDIA, I was at Marvell. So this is sort of my journey. And then moving to the next slide, I want to talk a little bit about some inspiring women. And at this point, I'd like to take a poll. So there are a couple of questions, and let's see what you think. That's great. The question was, who was the first American woman to travel into space? And it's fabulous. You guys answered that correctly. It's Sally Ride, who was the first American woman in 1983. She went into space. So thanks for answering that correctly. And next poll question, let's see what you think there. Thanks for answering that question. Who was the first woman of color to travel into space? And Mae Jemison is definitely the correct answer. So thank you for answering that correctly. Okay, well, I have listed out here 6 women that are super inspiring in STEM, and we're going to talk about them very briefly. But I just want to also say that there are inspiring women in STEM all around you. So you can always find your own mentors, role models, and people that you admire. But what I have picked here are 3 women. Jennifer Dudena, she's the Nobel Prize winner for gene editing in 2019. And there haven't been a lot of women. I think there's only 2 women that have won the Nobel, who have been Nobel Prize winners so far, and Jennifer is one of them. So it's a lot of pride, a lot of excitement to know that Professor Dudena, who is out of UC Berkeley, got the Nobel Prize for gene editing, CRISPR. And that's something you can learn more about. Mae Jemison, we just took the poll question. She is the first woman of color astronaut who went to space in 1992. Very inspiring lady who went to Stanford, was a scientist and engineer, and was from Chicago. So if you have time, please look her up and learn more about her. And then I want to talk about Greta Thunberg. Greta was the person of the year, Time Person of the Year, and she is the strongest advocate for climate change, and she wants to make sure that all of us together, communities, government, agencies, policymakers, everybody can come together worldwide and create policies that will reverse climate change. So she is an amazing person. She's a very young person too, and you should look her up. She's a young teenager, very exciting and inspiring person. Going to the next slide, I want to talk about 3 other ladies. Regina Benjamin, she is the 18th Surgeon General of US, and she was appointed that in 2008 by President Barack Obama. She's an amazing lady. She's a doctor with a very impressive career in public health, and she served for many years under President Obama. So again, a very inspiring person, and then I want to talk about Alyssa Carson. She's a very young lady. I had a chance to listen to her TEDx speech. She has gone through so many, I would say, space programs. She's amazing at chasing her dream. She had a dream when she was 3. She was watching TV and a program on TV which inspired her to become an astronaut. And since she was 3, she has been pursuing her dream. She's gone through a lot of training in space programs. She's training to go to Mars. She's very inspiring and very young. I think she's only 19 or 20 years old. So please look her up. And then Nida Ahuja is a person that I was reading up on, and I included her on this slide. And she is a surgeon and head of Yale Medicine. So again, a very inspiring lady, chair of the Department of Surgery at Yale Medicine. So the 6 women that I talked about today, just recapping, were Jennifer Dudena, UC Berkeley professor and Nobel Prize winner; Mae Jemison, the first woman of color who went to travel in space, and she went in 1992, amazing engineer, scientist, and went to Stanford. We talked about Greta Thunberg, Time Person of the Year. She is amazing and fighting climate change. And we talked also about Regina Benjamin, 18th Surgeon General of US, Alyssa Carson, and Nida Ahuja. So those were women that I picked that are inspiring, and you might want to look them up. Again, find women that you think inspire you. And I think a lot of reasons why we don't have that many women, or such a low percentage of women that are pursuing STEM, is because there's lack of role models and mentors. So look for people that inspire you. Next, I want to talk about a very important concept called believe in yourself. So this is something that's really near and dear to my heart. I always try to believe in myself, and it's hard. There are times that we all have self-doubts. We believe that we don't have all the information. We believe that somebody knows better. We are afraid of asking questions. And just like you guys may have suffered from it, I have suffered from it. There were a lot of times in high school and college, I was afraid to ask a question. I was so afraid. I would sit in the back and I would not raise my hand because I was afraid that someone was going to make fun of me because it was going to be a dumb question, and I don't want to look dumb. So, but you have to believe in yourself. Believe that you are capable and you have a supercomputer, which is a brain, and you are learning, you are capable of learning anything and everything. So believing in yourself is super important. And I use a technique. I remind myself um, almost every day that I am smart and I'm capable. And you can do the same every day. Remind yourself of that because you have to believe in yourself. So that is foundational. Also, I touched on the concept, which I'm discussing in the next slide, about a friend and a mentor. And I would really highly recommend finding a friend or a mentor that believes in you. I think when I was talking about my high school, I said that there was a friend that was like-minded, was interested in STEM, and believed in me. And that's super important because when we have a friend that believes in us, we end up doing better. We end up not feeling so bad about ourselves. And we have a friend we can rely on who doesn't think we're dumb, who can actually answer questions for us. So each one of you, when you leave this presentation, you should be thinking, do I have a friend or mentor that that appreciates me, that believes in me? And if you don't have one, then I think that you should certainly think about creating that network, creating those people for you. Now on this slide, I wanted to also have a poll question for you. So let's do one.
Sorry, that's the wrong poll.
That's okay. We can do this one right now too. Thank you. That's okay. So earlier we were talking about STEM and how STEM pays well. This was something I touched upon earlier. So let's take this poll, see what you think is the right answer. And I think I've given you plenty of hints. So let's go with this one. Okay, well, almost everybody got that correct. So that's great. The question was, what was the median annual wage of STEM occupation in 2019? And that is the correct answer, 84,980. Thank you for answering that correctly. Okay, well, rolling on to the next foundational element that I want to bring up is curiosity. This topic of curiosity. There's also a wonderful quote from Albert Einstein that you can read there. But curiosity is a extremely important ingredient if you are going to pursue STEM. So being curious is super important. And as I was thinking about my life as to how I ended up where I am today, one of the solid reasons that helped me was that I was always very curious. Curiosity is a big part of me. Even in high school, I wanted to know how everything worked. So try to be curious. See if you can help other people in their projects. Like sometimes if your parents or siblings are doing any home improvement projects, for example, try to do those with them. Anything you can be involved with that helps your learning will eventually like help you with the STEM education. So for example, like my parents, if they wanted to assemble a chair or a table when I was in high school, I would actually assist them, because reading those instruction manuals is sometimes hard, but at the same time, it helps you develop a lot of spatial skills. So I ended up going around the house helping my parents, and you might want to consider that too. And of course, I am here because I was curious through all those years. So hopefully, you can include curiosity and being curious in your daily life. Moving on to the next foundational element that is super important for all of us is to believe that everything is possible. And this is something, again, I firmly believe in. I had to tell every day to myself when I had bad grades, I couldn't finish a lab in college, or I had an assignment that our professor or teacher gave, and I didn't know where to even begin. I believed that everything is possible. So I've always used that to my advantage, and hopefully you can always remind yourself that everything is possible and keep that with you. So it's something that you should remind yourself every day, every week. Everything is possible, and believe in yourself. As we are talking about that, we talked about everything is possible. We talked about curiosity. We talked about believe in yourself. And then the next slide talks about hard work and the importance of hard work. So we can have great strategies, great ideas. In college, like I had these super exciting ideas that I was going to build something big. For example, I decided to build a circuit that behaved like a neuron, but without hard work, nothing is possible. So even if you have a great idea, you are smart, but as you all know, in order to get a good grade, in order to get make your dream into a reality. For example, Alyssa Carson, for her to train for years on space programs, that is hard. Hard work is a part of everything. So commitment to hard work, planning, and putting in focused effort are other important ingredients that you need to think about for your success and for a career in STEM. So I think that is a recap of what I believe are the foundational ingredients that you need to have as you're pursuing a STEM education. And then I wanted to touch a little bit about what are some of the biggest trends in technology, in STEM, that you could think about. So these are not the only things that are happening out there in the world. There are a lot of fields in STEM, and some of those are not on the slide, so I'll just talk through them. But there's a lot of scope, and there's going to be there are about 11 to 12 million STEM jobs already. So it's a big field, and it's growing and exploding. I touched about AI. So AI is a growing area. It's a growing field. AI is part of a lot of stuff. I talked about how chatbots use AI technologies, recommendation engines use AI technology. Also, if you are in the cosmetics industry today, a lot of companies, like whether it's Estee Lauder or Lancome, or there are many others that are already experimenting with artificial intelligence. So you may have heard of products like Magic Mirror. So Magic Mirror allows you to basically, it will be like, it's a magical mirror. They are using sensors and computer vision and helping you with the color of foundation or the color of lipstick that is actually good for you and that looks good on you. So that's another example of how technology is changing the makeup and cosmetics industry. And of course, if you're thinking about cosmetics, skincare, makeup, all of those things, you have to think about some chemists, some biologists, some biochemists sat down in some lab or a team of people worked on creating those wonderful products that make our skin glow and look beautiful. So there is a lot going on in incorporating computer vision, AI, some of these technologies in, for example, the cosmetics industry also. Wearables. So we are today wearing Apple iWatches. We are wearing Fitbits. So there is a trend towards wearables and how they will be changing our life. A lot of things that we were not aware of, like how heart monitoring, how fast are we running, what are, diabetes management. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on in wearables, and there's a higher purpose because they're trying to make our lives better, so we are able to discover things going on with our body before they actually happen. So that's an area of growth. I have already touched on robotics. You see an image on the left there, and we've talked about robotic surgery. There is a picture in the middle of a car. I wanted to bring up the concept of self-driving cars. Self-driving cars are amazing. Like, I know Tesla is investing a lot in self-driving autonomous vehicles. There are other companies investing a lot of money, funds, resources in this area. So, and then again, you don't have to be a programmer only. It doesn't mean that if you can only program or do coding, that's the only job available in these industries. We talked about gaming earlier and how you can be a game designer, you can be a graphics artist, but that doesn't require coding, that doesn't require programming, but you still need to have some graphics design experience. And so a lot of these industries, that I'm talking about, teams of people work on products and solutions. Only diverse teams can make products better. So you could be part of the sales team, you can be part of the marketing or business development team, you could be part of the game design team, or the person actually doing the drug discovery or research. We talked about COVID and how vaccine research is super important right now to our lives. But again, these are some of the trends that I wanted to throw out there. There's a lot of other technology trends. There are a lot of innovations going on in STEM that you can learn from. And so the takeaway here is, please go ahead, engage in these conversations. If you know people that are working on self-driving cars, engage in a conversation with them. Engage in a conversation with mentors and teachers and friends about robotics. So that's what you could do leaving this session. And then let's talk a little bit more about what resources are out there. And moving to the next slide, I am going to bring up another poll question and see what you think first. So the results are here. Have you heard of Girls Who Code? So a lot of you already know about Girls Who Code. I think 2/3 of you already know, but about 1/3 don't. So this is a wonderful organization that has multiple programs for women and girls, starting from like when you're like in 3rd or 4th grade all the way to high school. And this is an amazing organization doing a lot for STEM learning for girls. I highly urge you guys to walk out of here today and then go research them. Maybe find a program that's good for you. And then, of course, there are robotics programs out there. There is the National Robotics League. I also found a program, Summer Robotics Programs by YWCA Princeton, and it's an all-girls program. I thought it was a great program. You should check that out. Then if you're interested in video game creation programs, because we are users of video games, so why not even pursue game design programs? Then look at ID Tech. ID Tech has some game design programs. You should check them out. I know that that I was super impressed with their programs 3 or 4 years ago, and they have a plethora of programs that you can probably pick from. I also found some medical research programs, and they have summer opportunities at different universities. So check out those programs. It was also interesting as I was doing my research that I found that companies like Cisco, Amazon, Google, NVIDIA, Microsoft, and I'm sure and NetApp, all of these companies have STEM programs for girls that are focused on research and STEM research. So those are other resources to go research and go find those out. I think unless there are any other questions on resources, I think we only have a couple of minutes left, so I want to start wrapping up. The whole idea that I quickly went through all these resources is that it's not possible for me to list out all the resources that are good, but I wanted to mention a few key ones. And again, this whole presentation was an outline of things you can, things, learnings, tools, frameworks, resources that you can build upon. And I'm hopeful when you leave this presentation, you would have learned a few things that will pique your curiosity, and you are going to research them and then find a program that is good for you. The only failure is not starting at all. And even if you fail, it doesn't make any sense at first. Keep asking questions, and I assure you, you'll get better. Because remember, I said earlier in my presentation that I was an average kid in high school, not doing well. And I only got here because of some of those foundational elements that, I have incorporated into my learning, into my thinking. And if you think about those foundational elements, you remain curious, you believe in yourself, you believe that everything is possible, then truly you will have a very successful STEM education, and you will create a career for yourself in STEM that you're super proud of. So this is all I had. I hope you enjoyed these 45, 50 minutes with me. I am super excited to be a part of this program. If there are any questions, please put them in the chat, and I will try to engage with you guys. You can also engage with me on LinkedIn. I am available on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to schedule. You can connect with me if you need to. All right, this is all I had, and I want to thank you all for having me today and spending this much time with me. Thank you all, really enjoyed it, and thank you to NetApp and the NetApp Women's Organization and Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Renu. Thanks again for taking time and accepting our invitation to be the keynote speaker for our virtual Young Women in Technology event today. We're really excited and hope kids got some free idea on the different STEM fields that are available, the different tools and the resources that they can explore. We, the panelists, will be up on here to see if you have any questions for Renu or for the whole event, so we can answer them.
So Renu and Pooja, yes, we do have one question that was outstanding on the chat, and it was about fraud detecting and whether or not it's done by robots.
Sorry, what was the question? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Sure. And the question was about fraud detection and whether or not it's done by robots.
Yeah, so a lot of, so if you remember, I was talking earlier about artificial intelligence technology, and that is what is used in a lot of fraud detection cases. So because they are looking for patterns in fraud detection, you are looking for patterns and predicting if people are just wrongfully using your credit card or committing a crime. So I would say that AI, artificial intelligence, is the key technology being used in fraud detection by a lot of companies, for example, American Express and other banks and credit card companies.
Thank you, Renu. We have lots of people on the chat saying, thank you, Renu, thank you, thank you, thank you. It was amazing. A lot of people are saying, giving you comments. And oh, we have another question too. This is a question about girls who code, and maybe we might be able to answer this in our responses to them later. They wanted to know if there's any online programs for related to girls who code.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that a lot of the programs now are online. So they are absolutely available. Online programs are available.
Great. Oh, people are saying, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. I love this. I enjoyed it. Thank you. Renu, thank you very much.
Yeah,
it was an honor.
I will be happy to send the name of the online programs to the coordinators, and then you guys can share with the audience. I will do that later. I know there are questions about the online coding programs. I will send some program names to you guys.
Do we have any time for 2 more questions just came in? Do we have any more time? Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, what are some good paying jobs in the gaming industry?
What are some of the biggest paying jobs in the industry?
In the gaming industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was researching, and then people that can actually create the idea of the game designers make a lot of money. The graphics artists and the multimedia artists that actually put the music and how the game looks like so lifelike, all of those people also make a lot of money. And then of course, there is the people that are coding the games do make a lot of money as well. So there's a whole team of people that bring the game to market. So it starts with the person that actually figures out the storyline and the narrative of the game, which is the game designer. And then there are people that put other ingredients of the game together, for example, the music and the multimedia. And then there are people that create the consoles. For example, you see consoles out of Microsoft. And then there are people like NVIDIA that enable PC gaming. So there's like a whole industry, a whole ecosystem. And then there are lots of jobs within that ecosystem. And of course, not to forget that there's marketing jobs and sales job. So it's a whole ecosystem with a lot of different types of jobs, and they all pay pretty well.
Thank you, Renu. One more question?
Sure.
Okay. Are there specific requirements one should have to major in biochem?
If there are specific requirements to major in biochem, I know that I am not a biochem major, but I can tell you that from working with other friends who have pursued those careers, I would think that biology and chemistry are foundational to pursuing a career in biochem, and some of physics, but mostly it's chemistry and biology.
Thank you for that advice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pooja.
Are there any other questions that are like burning that you guys need answers to? Not sure how much time we have.
We can take one more question, Anne-Marie, if there is.
I don't see any, the biochemistry one, that was, if anybody else sees any that I might have missed, please jump in. That's the last one I see, Pooja.
Okay. Yeah, if there are any more questions, we will definitely make sure we answer you guys through our NetApp NG YWIT questions through email. And please make sure to forward us any questions that you have for us or for Renu, and we will reach out to you guys. Thank you. Thank you, Renu.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And for the kids who are planning to continue on to the next sessions, make sure that you look into your email for the next session links that are available and then click on that. Okay? Take care. See you guys at the evening keynote. Bye.